In the dimly lit alleyway of downtown Manhattan, a figure stood motionless, his eyes fixed on a nearby apartment building. The night air carried a chill, but he remained unmoved, his gaze intense and focused. This was Zack, a man driven by a burning desire for revenge. His tall, muscular frame exuded an air of determination as he waited patiently, his dark eyes scanning the windows above. Zack had every reason to be there, standing in the shadows, watching and waiting. A few months ago, he had trusted someone with his heart, only to be met with betrayal. Annie, the woman he had loved, had broken his heart and shattered his trust. She was the reason for his current state of obsession. Annie, a young and beautiful woman with dark skin and a shy demeanor, had captured Zack's heart with her gentle nature. They had met at a local coffee shop, where Annie worked as a barista. Her warm smile and soft-spoken words had drawn Zack in, and soon, they became inseparable. Zack, always the extrovert, brought her out of her shell, and their love blossomed. But as their relationship grew, so did Annie's secrets. Unbeknownst to Zack, she had a hidden past, one she was desperate to keep buried. Annie had grown up in a small town, where her family owned a successful business. However, their prosperity attracted unwanted attention, and a rival gang targeted them. In a tragic turn of events, Annie's family was caught in the crossfire, and her parents were killed. She managed to escape, but the trauma haunted her. Zack knew nothing of this. To him, Annie was the epitome of innocence, a woman with a kind heart and a bright future. They made plans to start a new life together, away from the city's hustle and bustle. But fate had other plans. One fateful night, Annie received a mysterious phone call. Her face paled as she listened, and when she hung up, she was a changed person. She confronted Zack, her eyes filled with tears. "I have to leave, and I can't take you with me. It's too dangerous. Please, try to understand." Zack, confused and heartbroken, pleaded with her. "I love you, Annie. I'll do anything to keep you safe. Just tell me what's going on." Annie shook her head, her resolve wavering. "I can't, Zack. I wish I could, but I made a promise. I have to go back and face my past. It's the only way to truly be free." And with those words, she left, leaving Zack alone and devastated. He tried to reach out to her, but Annie had disappeared without a trace. His attempts to find her were fruitless, and the pain of her betrayal grew with each passing day. Zack's obsession grew stronger as time passed. He began to investigate Annie's past, digging deep into her history. He discovered her family's tragic story and the gang that had destroyed them. Fueled by anger and a desire for justice, he decided to take matters into his own hands. Zack started to stalk Annie's family, learning about her siblings and their lives. He discovered that Annie had an older brother, Michael, who had taken over the family business after their parents' death. Michael was a strong and protective figure, determined to keep his family safe. He had two younger sisters, Sarah and Emily, who were both in their late teens. Sarah, the eldest of the two, was a free-spirited artist, while Emily was a quiet and studious girl. Zack followed their daily routines, learning their habits and schedules. He observed Michael's dedication to his work, often working late into the night at the family's warehouse on the outskirts of town. Sarah could often be found at the local art gallery, where she displayed her paintings, while Emily spent most of her time at the library, buried in books. As Zack delved deeper into their lives, he began to understand the impact of their parents' death on each of them. Michael, burdened with the responsibility of providing for his sisters, carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Sarah found solace in her art, using her paintings to express her emotions and the pain she had endured. Emily, the youngest, struggled with the loss, often feeling alone and vulnerable. One evening, as Zack watched from a distance, he witnessed a group of men approach Michael outside the warehouse. They exchanged heated words, and it was clear that Michael was being threatened. Zack's instincts kicked in, and he intervened, using his imposing presence to scare off the thugs. Michael, surprised and grateful, invited Zack inside, offering him a drink as a token of appreciation. As they sat in the warehouse office, Zack listened as Michael shared his concerns about the gang's ongoing threats. The business was thriving, but the constant fear of retaliation weighed heavily on him. Zack, sensing an opportunity, offered his help, claiming he had experience in dealing with such matters. Michael, hesitant at first, eventually agreed, seeing it as a chance to protect his family. Little did Michael know that Zack's intentions were not entirely pure. As Zack gained Michael's trust, he became a regular presence in the family's lives. He spent time with Sarah, encouraging her artistic pursuits, and even offered to help Emily with her studies. The siblings, unaware of Zack's true motives, welcomed him with open arms. Zack's plan was taking shape, but he needed to be patient. He knew that Annie would eventually return to her family, and when she did, he would be ready. He continued to gather information, learning more about the gang and their operations. His obsession with Annie and her family grew, blurring the lines between justice and revenge. One night, as Zack sat in his apartment, his phone rang. It was a blocked number, and a familiar voice whispered on the other end. "Zack, it's me, Annie. I need your help. I'm coming home, but I'm scared. Please, be there for me." Zack's heart raced as he heard her voice, a mix of emotions washing over him. He agreed to meet her, his mind swirling with thoughts of the past and the future. As he hung up, he knew that the moment of confrontation was drawing near. Little did Zack know, his actions had set in motion a chain of events that would change everything. As he prepared for Annie's return, the truth about his intentions and the secrets he had uncovered would soon unravel, leaving the family's fate hanging in the balance. What awaited Annie upon her return? Would Zack's revenge consume him, or would he find redemption? The first chapter of this tale had set the stage, but the story was far from over, leaving the reader eager to uncover the mysteries that lay ahead.